Welcome to the Life Podcast with BFR, a space where we celebrate life, support families, and inspire our community to thrive.
Well, hey, y'all. This is Tess Womack, and I'm joined with my co-host.
Hey, Tess. This is Sara.
We're so excited to be with you guys. This podcast has been a dream and a vision for a really long time, hasn't it, Sara?
Yes. I mean, I was trying to think when the first kind of thought came, our vision came for a podcast. And I mean, it's been, I feel like at least 4 years. And then I've had multiple people tell me over the years too. It's like, yo, you should really you guys should do a podcast. And now it's happening finally.
Well, Sara, before we get any further, tell me about your role at BFR. What do you do? How long have you been at Bartow Family Resources?
Yeah. So my current role is our creative director, and that's just a fancy term for
everything. That's what she does.
I wear multiple hats, but my main hat is our creative director. So all of our creatives for our marketing material, our social media, websites, all those types of things. I also run our fundraising events as our events director as well. And so really just anything that gets kind of exported from our organization, my hands are in it. And I've been privileged to be on staff with us for 10 years now, which is crazy.
Amazing.
It'll be 10 years in March. I think the official day is March 15th, but so my role has looked different throughout the years. But I'm just so excited to be here and to be at this place. And it's amazing.
Well, in my short time at BFR, I cannot imagine BFR without you. You are so talented, Sara, and you wear so many hats. And so your work is incredible, and we're just so grateful for you. I am on staff officially just a little over a year now as the advancement assistant. And so, yeah, woo-woo.
First ever.
That's right. I feel like I've been connected with BFR in a very unique and intimate way for over a decade, but officially on staff for just over a year now. So my role revolves around just advancing the mission, and that is something very easy for me to get behind. So,
so awesome. So Tess, you connect with our donors on a regular basis,
right.
And you're helping me as well with some of these creative pieces. And it's just been such a cool collaborative space that we've gotten to create, and along with our executive director Kim, and all things out in our community. And it's really been cool to see God grow that.
Yes, amen. It has been. Well, Sara, can you tell our listeners a little bit about why this podcast? What can they expect? And I know we've shared that it was a little bit of a dream that we're excited to see come to fruition, but why are we doing this?
Yeah. So, years ago when I started thinking about this podcast or trying to see how could we make that possible, really just wanting to educate and equip and inspire our community around life and our families that we serve every day, and their parenting journey, and really getting to share more in depthly about what we do, because I think a lot of times, you may hear about Bartow Family Resources, or BFR as we shorten it to say, but you may not really know what we do. And so the opportunity to share more in depthly, as well as share more about why do we need to value life? Like why is life important? And really getting to delve into some of those questions. And so as we really started planning and thinking about this podcast back in 2024, I kept coming back to our vision statement for our organization. And it's not something that we share often, but I love it so much. And it says, a community where every life is sacred and families are valued, educated, and supported. That right there, I think will preach, right?
Yeah, we could just stop.
Yeah, it's so good. And so really that's the big idea behind the podcast. That's the heartbeat of who we are, what we do, and getting to delve into that more in depthly to help our community come around this and to really transform and shape our community. And so some of the things that you guys can expect is, we want to bring on guests, and really those are experts and advocates and everyday heroes. It's going to look like some of our staff coming in to share, because nobody knows more about what we do than our staff. Right.
I'm getting super excited.
Are you getting excited? Yeah, I see it all over your face.
I'm like ready to get going.
Yes.
I mean, the lineup that we have for this is just going to be wonderful.
Yes. Yes. And so our staff are incredible. They're why we do or how we can do what we do. And so bringing them in to share more in depthly, but then also bringing in community partners and other organizations as well of what they do out in the community. So really just fostering a space where we can have those conversations, and also delving into some of the harder questions. I mean, we know that every story is different, right? And every woman that comes in to see us has a different obstacle in her path, has a different, things that she's trying to overcome so that she can have her baby. And so getting to delve into some of those things I think are going to be really exciting. And we also want to equip our community.
That's right.
And so some of those things look like resources and stories too.
You got me right there.
I know.
I mean,
Tess is all about the stories.
I am all about the stories. Something we often say is, will you join us? Will you join the story? Will you become a part of the story? And that is just one of the, you talked about the heartbeat behind BFR. And when I'm out in the community, or when I'm talking to just one-on-one with an individual about BFR and what we do, one of the phrases that I always go back to is above and beyond. BFR is just such a place that goes above and beyond. And hearing how God moves in this place is just incredibly impactful and encouraging and inspiring. And that reminds me too about what we want this podcast to be. We want this to be a place where people are encouraged, where they find hope, where they find resources, where they hear the stories and want to join the story even. And so it just gets me so excited thinking about it.
Yeah. We've recently started saying about our team and our organization that we are hope dealers.
Yes.
And that is so on point.
It is.
And our team does that beautifully. And so we hope to do that here as well.
Yes. We all need hope.
Yeah, always, every day. And, our ultimate hope, of course, is found in Jesus, right?
Right.
And so that's from that place, then that's how we give out hope. And it's beautiful. And we've seen so many life transformation happen over this past year. And so we're excited to be able to share that more on this podcast. We're going to be able to share that more in real time with our community about those transformation moments. And
yes,
I'm excited.
I am too.
It's so good.
I am too. Well, Sara, I mean, these people may not even know anything about us. So why don't we tell them a little bit about who we are? Can we start with, you telling us a little bit more about yourself? I mean, you said you've been at BFR for over 10 years or coming up on 10 years, right? But tell us more about your interests, your hobbies, and why don't you throw in something funny? Like just tell me, something unique about yourself too.
I'm not sure if I have a lot of funny things about myself. I will start to say that I have been it's been such a privilege to be on our staff for 10 years. It'll be 10 years in March. Prior to that, I got to volunteer for 2 years. So it's been 12 years total. I was a baby 19-year-old when God really put me in the path of our previous executive director, Marilyn Guttis, and just in such an incredible way that we randomly, I say that, sat next to each other in church in Atlanta, not even in our community. We were in Atlanta.
Wow.
And she turned to me and was like, "So where do you live?" And I was like, "Oh, I live in Adairsville." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And she's in Cassville. So it's just a really cool moment. And God really connected us. And so she called me one day, was like, "Hey, you want to come help with a project?" Famous last words. I have not left our building since. So I got to just the privilege of serving and helping her out with projects and fundraising and stuff. And then God opened the door for me to come on staff, and my role has shifted and changed throughout the years, but my passion resolved to be at this place. It's not. I had this moment probably about a year into serving. I had gotten to start kind of volunteering inside the center at this point and getting to interact with clients and doing different things. And I was just floored by what God was doing. And in my young little heart, I was like, I want to be where God is working and where God is moving. And I'm still here.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just continues to blow me away every day what we get to do.
That's right.
And the lives that we get to see saved and transformed forever. And
And you come from a big family, Sara, too. So, I mean, there's a lot of life. You're the, sacredness of life is
real in my house.
It is real.
Yes. I am one of 8 kids. I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters. And so, life was very full at my house. I got the privilege of growing up in church as well. So even though it wasn't like necessarily said, valuing life, but it was instilled in me,
That's
unconsciously. Right. And, do definitely love babies. I've been caring for babies since I was 2, not literally, but you know what I mean?
Yes, I know.
And yeah, it's been a crazy ride, but so yeah, life was definitely instilled in me at a young age because of that. And so it just kind of made sense, I guess, where God has led me into this space. And you asked something fun fact about me. I think the only thing that I can think of is that I do a crossword almost every day.
I love that.
I love word games. I love crosswords. And my siblings, some of my siblings do as well. My dad just rolls his eyes though. He's like, "Oh, it's crossword time." Like, yep.
Makes you smarter.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, so that's something fun about me. And I love to be outdoors and in nature as well. And I love to read and things like that. So that's just a little bit about myself and my story and how I've connected with BFR. So Tess, I love your story and your family's story. It is beautiful. And I would love for you to share a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm Tess Womack. And as I said, only been at BFR for a year officially, but very connected with the ministry for quite some time now, over a decade. And I'm a mom of 5. We have Brett and I.
Also full of life in your house.
Yes, lots of life in my house as well, vibrant. And so Brett and I have been married right at coming up on 20 years, and we have 5 children. And we have 4 daughters, and our son today actually is a special day, Sara, as we're recording this podcast. It's kind of a full circle moment for me. This is the 5-year anniversary of the adoption of our son. And so, yes, very, very, very special to us and to me. And that's a little bit, kind of my connection in a roundabout way with BFR. We knew Kim Lewis, the director of Babies and More, many years ago. She was a friend of mine, and we were connected with several of the volunteers. And I loved hearing about what God was doing in this space. And so, like a lot of people, began bringing donations, baby clothing, things that I knew the center needed. And like you, I mean, just simply stepping in the door, you see so much happening at BFR, and you quickly become aware of how God is moving in this space. And so we got this very rare and unique opportunity, though, to walk alongside a client at BFR many years ago. And she was just in a space where her son was removed from the home and placed in foster care. And she asked us to be the foster parents. And so very unique situation, rare situation. And she was a client at BFR at the time. And so it just kind of connected us in a unique way to the center. And unfortunately, that son left us, and our hearts were just absolutely torn into, Sara. I will never forget when we took down the crib after he left. The day that he left, I brought him by BFR. I remember our sweet, precious Tanya. She prayed over him, and Kim was giving him hugs and kisses, saying goodbye to him. And so that was like our last stop. BFR was the last stop before I took him to go be with his family that he was leaving to go be with permanently. And I'll just never forget that day. But when we took that crib down, when we got home, I just collapsed. I mean,
I can't imagine.
I thought that I heard him crying, Sara, and it was Oh, it was so painful. But the beautiful part of that story is he is loved and he is right where he should be. And because we stepped into that space and became foster parents, it opened the door for us to take a call 3 months later. And if it were not for that obedient step, if it weren't for the fact that we were already an approved foster home, we would not have been able to take my now son
Wow.
in. And so it's just, it's unbelievable. In fact, today I think I posted on my social media, a picture of him from 5 years ago. And I said, this is God still does the miraculous.
Yeah.
And, that is what we see at BFR all the time.
Yes.
God moving and doing the miraculous. And so that is just part of the excitement about wanting to be a part of this podcast, to be able to share the ways that God is moving in our community and invite others to join us on that journey.
Yeah, so well said. And I just love that you and Brett, your faithfulness and your obedience to walk in that hard season, even though it ended in such heartbreak, and I can't even imagine. But that opened the door for now your beautiful son Jep to be with you guys and to be, the bookend to your family. And it's just beautiful. And yeah, I'm just floored by your obedience in that.
God is good.
Yeah. Whew, wow. I think this is going to help set us up for the rest of the year with these, what we got to share, and some of the things that you can expect also from us is, we want to hear from you guys of what questions do you have around these topics and these, in this space, and what do you want to know more about BFR or anything? You feel free to submit and share your questions. We'll have some links, posted in our podcast below, but we're just excited to start this space, and I'm sure we'll learn along the way.
Oh, for sure.
Just a little insider scoop is that we already recorded this once and we realized one of the mics wasn't turned on. So you're going to learn with us and grow with us for sure this year. But we're just thrilled and excited, and so we encourage you to subscribe, to share, to help us spread the word, and submit your questions for sure. And I think we have potentially some exciting interviews later on this year with some people that you might know. So
do we want to give them a teaser about what's going to happen in a couple of weeks?
Well, in 2 weeks, after this podcast airs, so we are going to share and post podcast every other Tuesday. So you can, expect that little alert. If you subscribe, you can expect that little alert every other week on Tuesdays. But our next interview will be with Kim Lewis, our executive director. She's amazing.
The one, the only.
The myth, the legend. I think everybody in our community knows her pretty much, but we're excited to get to sit down and talk with her. And we're going to be looking at the topic of every life has purpose. And that is, that's important. We're going to be looking at why do we value life?
Right.
And I'm really excited to get to delve into that topic. And it's really at the core of BFR and who we are and what we do is that valuing life. So it's going to be good. Don't miss it.
Yes, don't miss it.
Yeah.
Sara, this has been so great. I am so looking forward to next time. And we just want to thank
Tess.
Yes, what?
You didn't share your fun fact.
Oh, I thought I was going to escape. I really thought, okay. Can I share 2 things?
No.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to share 2 things. I do not like to play games.
Really?
And I don't like to color either.
Now, I did know about the coloring aspect or dislike of coloring, because I asked you to color in something one time, and you gave me
told you what a sacrifice it was. Yes.
But no games.
No,
really.
I'm coming around a little bit with my children, and realizing that that's a time to connect as a family.
Yes.
But if you have a group of people wanting to just go out in the field and play kickball or something like this, I'm not going to volunteer to go do that.
But card games, board games?
I do like cards.
Okay.
I've gotten better about the board game situation.
I do love games and enjoy playing games with friends. So I may have to woo you over, but that's interesting. So you shared 2 things that you dislike. What about something you like? So we don't end on a low note.
This one's easy. I love to be in the sun. Love to be in the sun. I will move my chair in my driveway multiple times on a
chasing the sun.
Yes, chasing the sun. I'm a sun chaser.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, so much fun.
Yes,
so much fun to be had coming up.
Loved it.
So.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on the first episode of the Life Podcast with BFR.
See you next time.